the gate outside, when they pull up, they give me loose. Yeah, jump out, boys, that's Nike boys hopping our goose. Way too big, when we pull up, give me the loot. Was off the Remy.
I'm Zach Harris. This is For the Love of Sports, broadcasting live from the Fox Sports 980 studios in Latham. If you want to get in touch with the show, the number is 518-690-0980. That's 518-690-0980. So Donovan McNabb thinks he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. And before we get into that, I just wanted to give a shout out on Memorial Day for all of those who sacrificed their lives, or maybe those who were lucky enough to make it home. Make sure you thank a veteran today, because without them, we wouldn't be able to have barbecues today. We wouldn't be able to enjoy our family time today. And for those who were unlucky to make it home, we thanks for all that you did and all the support that you're allowing us to have and give to those who were not able to make it home. So we thank you on this Memorial Day weekend, and we appreciate all that you did. So Donovan McNabb played for the Eagles for 11 years, out of Syracuse. Obviously, his time came to a rough ending, got traded to the Redskins, played a year for the Vikings. Not quite the ending to his story that he wanted, but TMZ had him on talking about Eli Manning. Is he a Hall of Famer or not? Talking about rings. Then they looked at Donovan McNabb and said, what about you? I think you're a Hall of Famer. Why is it that you think that you're not in the Hall of Fame? And this is what he had to say on TMZ Sports.
Well, I mean, you look at it in a sense for a lot of quarterbacks. I mean, for Jim Kelly making it to the Super Bowl 4 times and not winning, but he made it to the Super Bowl 4 times. To Troy Aikman, my numbers are better than Troy Aikman, but he has Super Bowl rings and he's played with Hall of Famers as well. That's the question that I've always asked. I did play with T.O., but I didn't play with T.O. for a numerous amounts of years.
Right.
And so when you look at my numbers, yeah, but then they always want to add other stuff into it. And, so how was he? Was he an All-Pro? Was he this? How many Super Bowl opportunities? People don't realize how hard it is to get to the NFC Championship and to get there 5 times.
Yeah.
And then make it to a Super Bowl. It's tough. And so finally we have 2 Hall of Famers with Brian Dawkins and T.O. And so maybe that helps it.
Okay, so he sat there and said his numbers are better than Aikman's. Now, him and Aikman played just about the same amount of years, so it's kind of easy to compare the two. And if you look at Aikman and Donovan McNabb, 59% completion percentage. Troy Aikman, 61.5. If you look at yards, Donovan McNabb's thrown for over 5,000 more yards. You look at touchdowns, this is really where Donovan McNabb made his bread and butter. His touchdown to interception ratio. 234 touchdowns, only 117 interceptions. If you take a look at Aikman, only 165 touchdowns and 141 interceptions. Now you take a look at their passer rating. Passer rating for McNabb is 85.6 compared to Aikman's 81.6. But like you heard, McNabb said it. At some point, it came about championships. It's all about your Super Bowls. And Donovan McNabb, he reached the NFC title game 5 times, winning it 1, falling short in the Super Bowl to the Patriots, who won back-to-back Super Bowls the previous year and then the year that they beat the Eagles. It's about Super Bowl rings for a lot of these media members that vote these players into the Hall of Fame. Now, do I think Donovan McNabb's a Hall of Famer? Well, yes. Because if you watch Donovan McNabb play, and I watched a lot of McNabb games. And his numbers in the era that he played in suggest that he is a Hall of Famer. You take a look at his passer rating, all time, active and non-active, right now, his passer rating is top 35. He is number 35. And you take a look at the active players that are ahead of him, you have Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Phillip Rivers, Kirk Cousins, Matt Ryan, Ben Roethlisberger, Andrew Luck, Marcus Mariota, Matt Schaub, Derek Carr, Andy Dalton, Nick Foles, Matthew Stafford, Jameis Winston, Alex Smith, Ryan Tannehill, Cam Newton. These guys, all those guys I just listed, had the chance to play in an era where it's the most prolific passing era in NFL history. Donovan McNabb was not afforded that opportunity. If you take a look at Donovan McNabb's career, which lasted from 99 to 2011, you take a look at that. 99 to 2011. You know what that means? He just missed out on playing in the most prolific passing era. He's kind of stuck between two eras, where you had the Troy Aikman era where he played, and it was more about running the ball, controlling the offense, controlling the ball, leaning on your defense to create turnovers, but really that grind. It was all about the trenches, the offensive side and defensive trenches. And then there was the McNabb era where we started getting into these mobile quarterbacks, these quarterbacks that could throw on a run. We had McNabb. Then all of a sudden Michael Vick came about. And then more and more players. Dante Culpepper. Was he a great runner? No, but he could move around. So there was 3 different eras within 20 years. And unfortunately for McNabb, he got caught between 2. And Andy Reid, who helped establish this passing era, Donovan McNabb was a big part of this passing era. You don't believe me? He's the first player in NFL history to throw for more than 30 touchdowns and have less than 10 interceptions. He created this, well, not him individually, but he helped create this passing era, along with rule changes, obviously. But this is what led us more into more scoring, more offense. But you take a look at Donovan McNabb and what he's done with the Eagles over 11 years, going to 4 straight NFC title games and 5 overall, 1 Super Bowl appearance. Are we really going to hold against him that he didn't win a Super Bowl? If he won that 1 Super Bowl, if he was able to pull together a 2-minute drive instead of stretching it into 4 minutes and being able to get the ball back with more time on the clock and finishing the drive, he gets that 1 Super Bowl. Are you really going to tell me that's the difference between him being a Hall of Famer and him not being a Hall of Famer? Take a look at Troy Aikman. Yes, I know he has 3 Super Bowls. 3 Super Bowls. He also played with Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin. He had a great offensive line. In fact, he had a Hall of Fame offensive lineman that for half of his career dominated and became a Hall of Fame offensive lineman. Larry Allen. Now, I know Aikman won 2 Super Bowls before Larry Allen even became an offensive lineman for the Cowboys. But they still had a very good offensive line before he came, and then a dominant offensive line once he came. You want to know who Donovan McNabb played with? Let's list off a couple of players that Donovan McNabb played with. Now, he had Brian Westbrook, who wasn't a conventional running back, more catching the ball out the backfield, less running between the tackles. He was more of a space guy. Wide receiver-wise, Kevin Curtis. He had Deshaun Jackson for 2 years. He had Terrell Owens for like 2 years. Reggie Brown, Dante Stallworth, Greg Lewis, Fred X. And remember Fred X? The guy that consistently comes out and says that Donovan McNabb cost him money, costed him an extension, costed him his next NFL contract. For those of you that don't know, Freddie Mitchell, who gave himself the nickname Fred X because he always delivers, never delivered. Never delivered. So that Fred X nickname didn't really apply to the way he played. and he never made it out of his first NFL contract. He played through his first NFL contract, boom, out of the league. Then you had Todd Pinkston, James Thrash. James Thrash, you know what the best thing about him? Nothing. And then you might remember players like Hank Baskett. The greatest thing about Hank Baskett is that he married a playboy. That's it. There's no quality players that McNabb played with. He played with Deshaun Jackson his first 2 years in the league, so rookie and then second year. He played with LaShawn McCoy for 1 year, his rookie year. James Thrash, L.J. Smith at the tight end position. If you're not an Eagles fan, you probably don't even know 75% of the names I just said. And these are the teams that he led to 4 straight NFC title games and 5 overall. Now you sit there and tell me that he's not a Hall of Famer. Do I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer? No. But if we're going to put the likes of Eli Manning and Troy Aikman, Terry Bradshaw in the Hall of Fame, then Donovan McNabb, whose numbers are eerie similar, should definitely be in the Hall of Fame. Now granted, Eli Manning's played more, so his stats might look a little more pumped up, but that's because he played more. But you just take a look at the numbers, Donovan McNabb's career numbers, 25th in career passing yards. Now there's 9 active players ahead of him. And what did I just tell you? We're in the era now, from about 2008, I would say, to now, it became the most prolific passing era in NFL history. So, yeah, he's going to have 9 active players ahead of him. Like I said, the first ever NFL quarterback to throw for over 30 touchdowns and less than 10 interceptions. Nobody else has done it before that. Since he's done it, it's been done 22 other times. That just shows you the change in guard, the change in era. He's 30th at all time with 234 touchdowns. There's 8 active players ahead of him because they're in the most prolific passing era. So a lot of these numbers, if you just purely look at Donovan McNabb's numbers, they're borderline Hall of Fame numbers. But if you take the fact that he just missed out on playing in the most prolific passing era in NFL history, his numbers are outstanding. He's consistently led this Eagles team to the playoffs. In years that he was a full-time starter, 7 playoffs in 10 years. Not including his rookie year, he only played 6 games. 7 playoffs in 10 years. Take a look at his interception ratio. 14th all-time in touchdowns to interception ratio. And he was a runner. He was great on the ground. He has the 4th best interception ratio, or the 4th best interception percentage of all quarterbacks that have thrown for over 200 touchdowns. McNabb, while not a first ballot Hall of Famer, is 100% a Hall of Famer in my book. If you agree or if you disagree, feel free to call in. The number's 518-690-0980. Call in on this Memorial Day. Take a break from your grilling on your barbecue day and call into the show and tell me why McNabb's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Maybe it's because of all his antics off the field. Maybe it's because he wasn't that great in the media and had a big breakup with Terrell Owens, or, had DWIs and all this other stuff. Whatever your reasoning is, call in. The number's 518-690-0980. So coming up in 4 minutes, it's playoff time, but just around the corner, NBA MVP is getting handed out. Who do I think the NBA MVP is going to be? I'm Zach Harris. This is For the Love of Sports on Fox Sports 980.
The Greene County Historical Society presents its annual tour of homes on Saturday.